In this video, guys, you will learn how to get to the next level and the steps and phases I took to get there too. I was a 4-year varsity letterman and I played Division III college basketball, so I will show you how I did it and how you can too. So the first thing we have to look at is training, okay? And the only thing you guys can control with training is the quantity and quality of your training. Can I train more? Can I do it better? And then the third thing is, can I do something new in my training? I always believe that you need to do 6 days of training. So this looks like this, right? 6 days. More, better, new. So more means more hours. Better is, can I go more game speed? Can I increase my footwork or improve my footwork? Can I hold my follow through on every shot, right? This is all quality based, and this is how we can improve our quality of training. So this right here, more is quantity, better is quality, and then new is something completely different. This is like a new drill or a new exercise that we've never done before, something that challenges us and forces us to take more change and adapt to the drill so that we're more equipped to do it in a game and translate that so we can score more points and accomplish our goals. So that's new, okay? And this is the problem with a lot of athletes. You guys focus on this so much. You want to do something new this, something new that. You go from drill to drill to drill, and then you never master any drill, and you never master any workout, and that's why you're not improving. You guys have to do, step 1 is always more. Do more first. Step 2, once you max out your capabilities of doing more, and for me, this was about 18 to 24 hours a week, okay, which is about 3 to 4 hours a day. Once you max that out and find your kind of good time frame to do that, for me, again, it was 18 to 24. For you, it might be like 12 to 16. Maybe you can't handle more than that, right? Or maybe you can handle more than me. Maybe you can do 24 to 30, right? For me, 18 to 24 was a sweet spot because I wanted to do it for the long term. I didn't want to just train for a month and then burn out and then I was tired for the rest of the year. I wanted to find a time frame where I can do it for the whole year and not be super tired. And that's why I always rested once a week, which was on Sunday. So Monday through Saturday, I was always working 3 to 4 hours a day. And so that was my sweet spot. Once I maxed that out, okay, I no longer can train more, but now what can I do better, right? And this is where the second step comes in. Now I would watch film of not only in my games, but I also film myself training. I'd film myself shooting, I'd film myself doing the drills that I was doing, and then I'd study it. I'd be like, okay, can I go more game speed, right? Which I talked about. Can I improve my footwork? Is like, is my first step going the right direction, or am I driving too wide? Am I getting low with my shoulders? Am I getting low enough with my shot? Am I holding my follow through on my shot? So this is all stuff that you can just do better in the stuff that you're already doing right now. And so it's like with more and better, you guys have to make sure that you're just doing these things over and over and over again. Repeat, repeat, repeat until you max out better. And I promise you, doing stuff better takes a lot longer than you think. It could take 3 months, 6 months, a year, more, 2 years, right, before you do something new. You want to focus on doing more, then doing better, and then finally focusing on the new thing that once you finally master that workout or you master that drill, then you can do something new, like a new drill or new exercise that, again, challenges you to do something else, okay? So you have to ask yourself, can you do more of what you're currently doing? Okay, and most of your answers should be yes. Okay, and then the second question is, can I improve the quality of my training right now? Again, most of you should answer yes. And if you're saying no, then most likely you're closing your mind off to doing more things and doing it better, and you will never improve, right? If you say no to these questions. Can I improve or can I add new things to my training? Okay, so the new things that you want to add could again be drills, new drills that you've never done before in basketball, new shooting drills, new ball handling drills, dribbling with 2 balls instead of just 1 ball, dribbling with a tennis or doing tennis ball workouts, doing maybe have a weighted vest on when you work out, right? Just those are new things that you can do, and also it can help you help improve the quality of your training as well. So all these are good ideas, but this is the basic foundation of what you guys need to understand for training, because you will never ever improve until you understand the more, better, new framework. Okay, do more of it, max out that capability first. Once you max out that level, then you max out the better level. Once you max out that level, then you can finally move on to something new. And if you guys skip steps, then again, you're just going to move on to another drill, but you never mastered the thing before, and now you're building on a very, very shaky foundation that will not allow you to grow into this amazing player that you want to become. Phase 2 is reflecting. So I kind of touched on this on phase 1, but again, this is super important because just like studying film, for instance, this is a type of reflecting, is super important because you don't know what you're doing wrong if you don't reflect on it. And so I always like to reflect 1 to 2 times a week, right, as a player, and I would ask myself certain questions. So, for example, if I'm studying my film, I would ask, okay, what am I doing wrong? And then how can I fix it? That's the basic framework. So if I'm watching my own film or my training, let's just say I'm watching my training film. Okay, what am I doing good in this video or this clip? Okay, I'm getting low, my first step's pretty fast, not bad. Okay, can it be better? Can my first step be quicker, right? Can my footwork be sharper? Is the timing right? Is my body positioning right compared to like NBA players, right? Then you can compare side by side and say like, no, Kyrie, he's a little lower. His shoulder's a little lower than mine. Okay, let's get my shoulder a little lower like his. And so all we're doing is comparing and reflecting and seeing, what am I doing bad? What am I doing good? Okay, and so from this mindset, now we know what to fix. So whatever you're doing good, you got to keep on doing it, which is the hard part. But whatever you're doing bad, you have to turn that into good. So you have to ask, how can I keep on doing the good things, but then how can I sprinkle in, improving on the bad things? And this is why I always make sure to, when I'm training and training my clients, you're always repeating to them like what they need to do. And I call this like checklists. So for instance, if you're shooting, you have to constantly remind yourself of your shooting checklist. Like if you don't hold your follow through a lot and you see that on your film, you have to constantly say, okay, hold my follow through. Great. Once you hold your follow through, maybe there's other things, right? Maybe you're not getting low on your shot. Okay, you have to say, stay low, hold my follow through, stay low, hold my follow through, every single shot that you take. And so these are called mental cues, or like kind of mental phrases that you constantly say in your head that will enable you to not only remind yourself, but be conscious of the things that your body is doing. So when you're doing that, it'll allow you to, really improve because you're actually focusing on the things that you need to improve on. So in terms of like reflecting on your games, you can also ask, what is causing me to play bad? What is causing me to play good? It could be routines, right? Maybe you don't have a routine set up. Is your coach, the way he coaches, is it bothering you? Why is it bothering you? And then how can you adapt around that, right? Because coaches don't change. Only you can change. You can't force your coach to change, but you can do something else differently to maybe help him see you in a better light, or help you get more playing time. It could be totally indirectly to your skills, right? It could be mental. It could be the way you approach the game, the effort that you give, the attitude that you give. And then how can you make bad things good? And then how can you make good things great? Again, this is just studying. This is research. This is looking at the best players and saying, what are they doing versus me? You can ask your coaches. You can ask your trainers. And then how can I stop the things that cause me to play bad? How can I keep doing the things that cause me to play good? Again, if you have a routine set up that makes you play more consistent, don't ever miss that routine. Don't ever skip on that, right? And then how can you stop the things that cause you to play? How can you stop the things that cause you to play bad? Whatever causes you to play bad, you got to make sure that you obviously eliminate those things, and then really target them and find what kind of makes you play bad, right? Is it because you're not focused? Is it because you don't have a routine? Is it because you haven't been practicing consistently before the game? Like, these things need to be brought up. And then the final phase is accountability. So we have to hold ourselves accountable because nothing is possible without being disciplined, without being consistent, and without being accountable to our actions. So I always ask myself, every 30 days or so, in the past 30 days, what have I truly achieved? So, for example, in the past 30 days on my Instagram account for my for Skills by Ty, I've achieved about 8,000 followers. So that's a result, for instance. But for basketball, it can be less kind of, it's harder to kind of track because it's not number based. Sometimes it's not like, oh, I increased my points per game by 3, right? But That's why it's super important to track the wins, the small wins, and it's super important to track how you feel in the game or when you play with your, friends and teammates. Because, for instance, if you're trying to improve your jump shot and you're making 200 shots a day, 6 days a week, okay, what do you feel differently from day to day? Maybe the first day that you do it, you're like, oh man, I missed so many shots. I wasn't holding my follow through. Okay, then on Tuesday you fix one thing. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold my follow through every shot. Okay, you make a little more shots than you did Monday, and then Wednesday let me get lower on my shot and hold my follow through. Okay, great, you did that, made a little more shots, and so you see how this process just keeps going on. And the thing that wrecks the whole thing is if you just revert back to your bad habits, stop holding your follow through, you're not low on your shot anymore, and then all of a sudden you're back to square one. And this is why it's super important to stay accountable. Do you continuously do the things that need to be done in order for you to improve? So again, using that jump shot example, you have to constantly do those things so that you improve and you're not taking steps backward. I want you to constantly take steps forward every single day. And you have to remind yourself, as you build on this foundation, you can't just stop doing the things that got you there, right? If you're holding your follow through on every shot and then you try to do something else with your shot, it doesn't mean you stop holding your follow through. You got to keep doing that, but you also got to do this, and then you got to do this. It's addition. It's not addition, then subtraction, then addition, then subtraction. No, it's just constant addition. You want to add one thing, then another thing, then another thing, but that's why we have to go slow, right? We have to master something first before we move on. And that's why the framework of more, better, new is so important, because you have to do more, then you have to do better, then you have to do new, and you can't skip steps, because that's what will happen. You'll hold your follow through one day and then you won't the next day because you're focusing on staying low now. But now it's like you took a step forward, then you took a step back, then you took a step forward, then you took a step back, and that's what happens. That's the cycle of basketball players. Like, we're trying to improve something, but you add a good habit, then you add a bad habit, then you add a good habit, then you add a bad habit, and now it's like you have 5 bad habits and then you have 5 good habits, and then they just cancel each other out to the point where, like, you're still nowhere, right? You're just running in place like a hamster on a wheel. And so we have to build good habits and subtract bad habits. So the more good habits we have, the less bad habits we have, the better player we'll be. And so this is why we have to hold ourselves accountable. So if you're, a basketball player right now and you're trying to improve anything, I want you to list out habits. So for instance, if you're trying to improve your ball handling, look at the habits that you do. Do I stay low every time? Am I going game speed? Am I doing this? Am I staying wide in my stance? Am I using my shoulders to really sell going right or sell going left? Right? Am I doing the things that are necessary, the body positions needed for it to work in a game? And if you're not, watch your training film, watch your in-game film, and list out those habits. List out the bad habits, list out the good habits. And then slowly but surely over the off season, you want to put that bad habit in the good habit column. And then you have 0 bad habits and all good habits. And then all of a sudden, you're a good ball handler, right? And so that's kind of how this process works. And it's tedious, it's long, but guess what? Not everyone will do it, and that's why not everyone makes varsity. That's why not everyone plays college basketball, because this is the 3%. This is the 1% of people that will actually do this stuff and sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed. So if I'm talking to you and you're that person, then this is what you have to do day in and day out. It's a lifestyle. So the physical work, I always say, is the easiest part about basketball. The physical part should be the fun part. The mental part is where it's tough, because you have to constantly be focused. You have to constantly pay attention to detail. You have to constantly be harder on yourself than most people. And I always say this, be your number one critic, but also be your number one fan. My dad, he was a very hard critic on me, but I knew he supported me at the end of the day. I learned to be harder on myself than he ever was, but I also learned to be more confident in myself than he ever could be. So you got to understand, you're doing this for you, you're doing this for your career, and don't do it for anyone else. Don't do it for your mom, don't do it for your dad, don't do it for your cousin, don't do it for your uncle. Do it for you. Because in the long run, long term, you will never succeed in anything unless you do it for you. So when you're doing these phases, and you're going to the park or you're going to the gym by yourself, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 p.m., doesn't really matter. You're doing it because you want to achieve a goal, right? And it's up to you whether you want to pay the price to achieve that goal or not. So You have to be comfortable with that decision. And if you make that decision, don't go back on it, because that's, again, another hamster wheel that people go through. They do it for a month and they're like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, it's only been a month. I did this for 8 years straight. So if you can do it for 5 years, even just 1 year, don't even have to be 5. Just do it for 1 year, maybe for 3 months straight, right? We'll start small. Then see what results you get in 3 months. And I promise you, it's really easy to quit when you're down bad, but it's extremely hard to quit when you have a great day. So when you actually get that first win, you're like, you know what, I can do it. I understand it now, and let's keep on going. So if this helped, comment below. I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys, what you guys want to see from me. I can teach whatever you guys want me to, because I've done it all. I've thought about everything you could possibly imagine in basketball, athletically, physically, skill-wise, mental stuff. So please leave a comment below and see let me know what you guys want to see next. But also leave a like, and yeah, pretty much that's it. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.